basically what we're going to do is do a simple graphic or image onto a material. So we're going to make a material that has a graphic. So you've seen some of the material already provided in the Autodesk library, such as wall finishes. So wall, I'm looking here. If you go under, you'll find under here Autodesk there is flooring. Flooring has a lot of material. So if I show you guys an example, which would be I have to create a 3D object, or it can be a surface. Go to realistic, and I can drag into that material. You can see a texture to it and the lovely color. Something with, let's see here, stone is a perfect example because it is pretty much an image. So we're going to show you how to do an image of your own. I decided for mine to be the Harley Davidson logo. So to add this material, it's not that difficult. It's actually really fast and easy. All you have to do is go into the create a new material document. So you click on that, you specify new generic material. We're not going to use a reference. From here, instead of the color RGB, we're going to select a image. So you just click in this area here where it says image, and you find your image file. Now if you guys want to pick something more interesting than I'm going to pick, I'll show you how to do that. So just go on Google, pretty simple, images, and you research something that you are interested in. So feel free just to select something. It can be a logo, could be anything, a texture. So you can select any of these. Actually, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to do 2 samples. Save picture. I save it on my desktop. You might want to save it somewhere else. And back into our drawing. So I selected the image of the Harley Davidson, where I can adjust the brightness. I can invert or reverse it, black and white, so it's no longer the same colors, but I don't recommend that. We're not going to link the texture transform because there is no texture there, but there is a position if you want to move it. So right now it's centered. The size is a little big, so you may change it as well. You can tile it, or you can put it as none, so there are no tiles. It's just one simple logo. That's pretty good for placing a logo onto something instead of having it tiled. So I'll show you an example of the difference. So this one's the none, no repeat. I close it out. You can add the other definitions of reflection. If it was a sheet metal, if it was a metal, a shiny metal, you can put a transparency to it and all the other options. Just for giggles, I'm gonna put a somewhat of a shine to it. Close out, and there should be a new material called out here. I should have named it, so I didn't name it. I can double click and change that here. Harley. And there's my new material. I can drag it and place it onto the part. So this is what I have. It's supposed to be, it's kind of shiny. You can see it reflects. But that's pretty simple. Now if I did the repeat, it's going to be a little bit different. So if I reuse new material, or actually I'm going to add this and duplicate. So if I want to use the same material setup, except I want to change one little particular thing and call it a different material, I select it, I go to edit under the new material option down here. You can do a duplicate or duplicate of a generic, which is one of these. So if I do the first one, I'll have a Harley 1, and this is I can put the repeat. This is where I can adjust the image, double clicking the area where I place as tiled both ways or repeated both ways. And I close it out. So now I have a Harley repeat. I can drag this in, and that's my repeat. So very simple. Alright, so now let's say we have a problem here. Our box is maybe huge. It's going to be, I don't know, about 200 by 200 by 200. So I got this huge box and I placed this Harley. You can't see it. It's there, but it's, oh, if I zoom in, you'll see it. It's right here. And it's on every corner, so, oh, there it gets cut off. But there's a way to fix this. Now, since I'm not going to make the box smaller because this is the size I want, what you're going to do is edit that specific design. You go to the image where you modify the actual scale. So I'm going to change my scale to 120 instead of 12. And I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to drag that material once more onto the object. Now you can see that the whole entire object is placed correctly. So now it's actually, I can see it, and it also scaled, actually it didn't scale, that was the old one. So this is the new material with the correct size. Sometimes if you want to change this as you're looking at it, it's an easy way to do it. All you have to do is double click on the image here, and you can adjust the size. Oh, this is the small one. The big one. I should select the small one. So this is this. I can edit. Double click on the image, and this is where I play with the scale. So technically, as I'm going up and down, it'll change it. But since these numbers are so little, it might take forever. The other option is, this is a reference, so it locks the width with the height. So if I decided to change the width to be something different and stretch it out, I can turn this off. I can make one stretch and the other one stay. So it becomes a weird logo this time. So you can play around and edit things like that. Next thing I want to teach you guys is the background. So let's say I have this lovely design. Actually, I'm going to keep this one right here. This is my lovely design, and I'm going to add a background to it. Right now my background is white. Some of you may have black. That's fine. It's not a big deal. What you have to do is type in background. Easy to remember. And you'll have a window like this that pops up. You can have solid colors. That is the default setup. So if you select a color here, any color you like, you can click OK, and you'll have your whole background that color. The only problem with that is if you're working in this color, your eyes start to hurt. Right, if you try something weirder. Now I'm going to go back to my background. Actually, so yeah, you can play around with different colors. Now, once again, background, there's four options total. So my next one is gradients. Gradients pretty much two or more colors that it goes from like for your example, for your default, it's gray to black. So you can see it slowly turning from gray to black. That's the default option, which is very common. Your other option would be to add a third layer. So it'll change it just slightly. And with that as well, you can rotate it. So this would be 90 degrees. And well, there's other option is to change the colors. All you have to do is click on the color. You can change it. So this one's going to change from there we go. And you got something like that. So you can really pick any color you want. You can make your whole design pretty interesting. These are the sample defaults, easy ones. The next big one is the actual image. So you can go into background once more. From gradient, you go into image. This is where you browse for an image, just like we did before. But this time I have like a V-Rod in my background, which is a motorcycle. You can adjust the image to scale it, or to offset it, or you rotate it. There's a lot of neat options. But you want to probably adjust it so it matches exactly on the image you have. You can also stretch it. You can add a tile to it. There's a few options. There are not too many. And you can click OK and accept. This will give you the background. So it's kind of hard to play to design with a background like this, so I leave that usually to the end. Otherwise.
So you had to insert the image.
And finally, there's a third or fourth option, the backgrounds. It's the world, sun and sky. So this is based on the time of day and your location in the world. So if you go, and you can adjust a lot of different things, the height, the blur, horizon, that's so many options. You can play around with this as you wish. But they all are self-explanatory. If you don't understand them, you can research them more somewhere on the book or online. But you end up with the world, and depending on what time it is, you can see the sky and the ground. The background is for sky, sun and sky. So if you have a no, it's oh, you don't have it. Yeah, it might have been. So you may not have this option on your computer if it's at home, but the newer version has it. So you can change the color of the night. It's black. The ground color, I prefer green.
Is it all within background?
Yes.
All I've got are 3 options: solid, gradient, image.
Well, then you guys don't have it. So this might be just for the instructor or the more professional one, where it's associated with the. Uh-oh, it crashed.